Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I'll be honest with you. I didn't want to be here today. I didn't want to be here in London. And I'll tell you why. Are there any football fans? I come from Amsterdam, people. You stole my Champions League final. Why? But there was a lesson here. And the lesson is the winner takes it all. And that is something that we're going to talk about today. About winners taking it all, especially in the future of customer engagement. These are some of the winners that we have seen over the last couple of years rise. These are from several barometers, net promoter scores, comparisons that we have seen, all sorts of scores that are out there. There's one nuance to this, that most of the time it's the Americans that do all of these surveys. So there are relatively a lot of American companies in there, but it gives you a good indication of what is going on in the market and who is doing well in that market when it comes to doing good on customer engagement and getting the necessary revenue and ROI out of all of this. Why is that? Well, based on some of the research that we have done in the past, what we are seeing is that the gap between the number one and the number two in the world are very much changing. And it's widening very much what is going on. And the reason for that is that if you are the number one, you're getting disproportionately rewarded in the marketplace. And if you are second, you're getting disproportionately punished when it's out there. So if you are, for example, on Amazon a seller and you have a 5-star score, you do 80% more than if you would do it if you have a 4-star rating. If you have a 3-star rating, anybody with a 3-star rating, you're dead. It's over. So you get disproportionately punished for actually doing that. And to give you a few examples and a few elements here from the UK perspective, this is the customer satisfaction index that was done in 2017. And what we saw there is that from an average revenue per employee, if you would focus on customer engagement and customer experience, you would actually have double more productivity and revenue per employee. If you look into a loyalty perspective, if you are focusing on customer engagement and on customer experience, you have a 96% score of loyalty versus the number 2 in the market, which has 66%. And also, if you look at it from a recommendation perspective, then you see if you are focused on it and you're doing well, 92% will recommend you, and if you are the number 2, it will only be 47% in the marketplace. The question becomes then, what do they do well exactly? Well, they focus on customer engagement value. That correlates very much with business success today. And what is it? They orchestrate their business solutions, technology capabilities, organizational policy, and structures so to really drive customer loyalty, satisfaction, and advocacy in there. And it's much more than just customer experience. It has to do with customer expectations. It's also about being customer-centric. And it has to do with delivering a good customer experience in the marketplace. But in order to do that, that's not very simple. The future that is ahead of you to do this well in this new digital world that we live in a new digital reality, and in the way you want to do digital business, there is a storm ahead of you. And I talked about this last year, and I think that this storm is still going on in the marketplace. But what we very much did see is that that storm has three big trends in it. And I'm going to talk to you about those big three trends that is out there. The number one, which you will not surprise you, is embracing artificial intelligence. And we'll talk about how and why and when and etc. We will talk about envision your CEH. CEH stands for Customer Engagement Hub, a Gartner framework that we think is essential for you to be customer-centric. And thirdly, it's about investing in EX, not CX, not BX, but it's more like your employee. Invest in your employee on what they need to do. So let's get into it. For the first one, AI. Customer demands are changing. We still want to be seen, heard, appreciated, like we did 60 years ago when we were walking into the bakery and he knew exactly what I wanted. But we also expect that I can have richer, immersive, digital, and also omni-channel experiences. But more and more customers also would like to have increasingly expect AI-powered experiences. Although they will not say it's AI, they expect to do a lot of self-service that they can do. Extreme self-service, so that I don't need to speak to somebody else, but everybody knows who I am, what I do, and I can do it myself, 24 hours, 7 days a week, whenever I want and however I want. If you look into what we have seen with AI, how people are embracing it, it's really about three things. One, it's giving you the insights into your customer, and therefore it will allow you to actually personalize your engagement with them. Second of all, it is about the user experience that you have with them, the virtual agents, the chatbots that are out there today, those that understand what you are saying through email, and you can get a response in a different environment. Think about messaging through Facebook, through Apple Business Chat, through whatever engagement, so that you also know about that. And last but not least, it's also about process improvement. Process improvement so you can do your customer engagement process end-to-end quicker, more efficient, in a better way. And I'll tell you, if you do that, I'll promise you that by 2021, as one of our assumptions, 15% of all customer service engagement will be handled by AI, which is a 200% increase when you look at it what it was in 2017. You might also say, are my customers already ready for this? Well, let me share this with you. We did a survey last year on end users, and we asked them, if a bot could do this job in the same way as a human being could do, what would you choose? And as you can see, almost 1/3 of them already decided to go with the bot. When it comes to customer service type of questions. And you can see also in what kind of environments that they would do that. They would do this with advisory. They would do this with information. When it really gets hard, we still see that there is still a bit of a barrier to actually get there. And so if we look into organizations on what they are doing in terms of what are the top AI cases that are out there, it's really all about customer engagement and customer engagement applications that are doing so well when it comes to automating the customer engagement. Now, I do want to caution you for one thing. The fear of missing out is really extremely important. And it will make you will make bad decisions because of that. I talk to a lot of companies on a daily basis that say, I want to do something with AI. So yeah, what do you want to do with AI? Where do you want to do it with AI? Have you really thought about it? And my message to you really is, please be patient and understand what you want to do and where you want to do it. Because if you look into the global survey that we did last year on AI, you only see that 4% is actually really doing something with it. So the fear of missing out will lead you to making really poor decisions. So don't rush yourself in order to do so, but make sure that you can make the right decision. And let me tell you what we also saw in that same survey that talked about the challenges of why people are not adopting AI or where they have a hard time adopting artificial intelligence. And the number one reason that we came up with constantly, and I see that in the conversations that I'm having, is the fear of the unknown. Not knowing what it is, what value does it bring, what are the security problems that I see with it. I need to understand, I need to educate myself on what it is, and I have no idea of what the risks are that are out there today. So fear of unknown is a really important component, something, educate yourself before you actually want to get into this game. And then the second element to it is, you find your starting point. So defining your use case is really extremely important to start off with. From a customer engagement perspective, where in that customer engagement can I go complex? Or can I go with a simple element first? Can I have limited conversations in the chatbot that I may want to point out? Or do I have the possibility of low-hanging fruit by bringing natural language processing to email management? So that is the most important thing for me to do. Find your right use case, start and define your strategy, and also make sure you secure there the necessary funding on how you would like to do this. The third element to it is really about vendor strategy. I have to tell you that over the last couple of years, there has been a huge hype about AI. Everybody who thinks that they do AI, put it on their website right now, so to trigger you to go and do something with them. The vendor landscape is extremely complicated. There is a lot of one-trick ponies out there today that will not deliver the necessary value that you are looking for. So really also find out and ask deeper after educating yourself what exactly you want to know from this particular vendor. And also look into the integration capabilities because of those young vendors that are out there. And I can tell you, I track about 1,800 of them that are out there that are providing customer engagement AI capabilities to you today. You really need to start thinking on what they do and how they actually are doing it. Last but not least, also be honest to yourself and to your own organization in finding out whether or not you are mature already to do all of this, to bring AI into your organization. Do you have the necessary governance? But also, most importantly, do you have the necessary skills in-house to actually make all of this going? So take care of that. And if you do that, this is the other promise that I will bring you. Those companies in 2025 that in the customer service organization have embedded AI into their platform will elevate their operational excellence efficiency by 25%, because you can use it on all those three elements that I just talked about. The second big trend that I see a lot of organizations doing is they start building what we have called a customer engagement hub. And let me start by this. I have seen companies over a decade now trying to do omni-channel, multi-channel, however you would like to call it. And I can tell you, 85% of those companies have still failed to actually really do this, which leads to an inconsistent customer experience. I find it a lot. But I'm not very optimistic on the future, to be honest. Because I think by 2022, still 50% of companies are actually not able to do this and continue to do things in a siloed way if you do not start to think about a customer-centric framework that you need to work on. What you need is a customer engagement hub, where you do three things. It is across your systems, where you can actually do it across the different channels, but also where you make sure that this is also across the different departments that you want to engage with. So what is for us a customer engagement hub? It enables organizations to align their processes with customer intent to orchestrate a cross-channel, cross-departmental customer experience. This is what it looked like from a high-level perspective. And it has 4 elements in it. 1, it has on the bottom all those different engagement channels that you want to bring out in most of the time over the last couple of years in a siloed way. You have the process execution side of it, where you actually bring help on the desktop side to your agents, where they can do the execution. And in the past, for sales, service, and marketing, this was just the process. But nowadays, we see that also next best actions is in there, that people are context aware and need to know how to route things, that they can also bring personalized context in there. And the third element on the top left, is the operational side of it, where you connect and do the integration into those back-end systems or in those industry-specific systems, where you are building your 360 view that is out there, where you can actually make sure that in a real-time basis you bring a continuous intelligence to this environment. And last but not least, and that may be the most important one today, is all about the analytical side of it, where you are not just looking into your back rear mirror and having a data warehouse and generating reports, but where you actually really also look ahead, and where you can be predictive, and where you can start being prescriptive, where you tap into those engagement channels, where you can personalize those engagement channels, where at the same time you can bring that insights also to your contact center agents and to your customer service environment, where you can actually help them decide on what the best next action on all of this is. This is a framework that you can use within your own organizations. And I see that a lot of companies that I work with put this as a poster on the wall and start thinking about, what do I have in my organization right now? What are the projects that I'm doing, and what is contributing at the moment to me to this customer-centric architecture? And what are the white spaces that I actually then get out there, and the white spaces that I need to tap into and actually make sure that I fill them with new technology. This is a framework. So that also means that this is not something that you can buy in the market. I can tell you that. There is no one technology that is providing everything here. You need a group of technology to actually get these things going. Vendors, sorry eGain, are not always your partners. They sell within the environment that they can influence and that they have. So you need to have more of these vendors and orchestrate it yourself. The problem also in building this customer-centric architecture is that nobody owns it within your organization. A lot of people have customer service, sales, marketing, digital officers. Hopefully you have a customer officer who is responsible for this, but nobody is responsible for the whole customer-centric architecture. You need to start thinking about that. Who can actually do this? Because they need to bring it together to actually really get value out of customer engagement and drive to the next digital world that we live in. And with the fact that nobody owns it, also comes the bit of the problem that the ones who own it cannot always make the decisions because it's not yet high enough in the organization. So make sure that if you want to have a customer engagement hub, you also have somebody responsible for the customer so that they really can bring value out of all of this. Couple of things if you want to lead that hub. Make your business case on how you want to do this. Like I said, take stock of what the existing technology is that you have today. But most importantly also, link the context and break the silos. I know we have been talking about that for a decade already, but start breaking the silos. In a digital world where lines between sales, service, and marketing are blurring, where digital is 24 hours, 7 days a week, you cannot think about departments and silos anymore. You need to start breaking them down. And fourthly, look for those high-value moments. When is it necessary? A lot of people ask me when I talk about when they talk about the digital engagement, how is that different from the physical world? And I always tell them the very simple story. I don't think it's different. And I don't think it's different because of this. If I walk into a shoe store, I always think I want to look around, see the shoes that I like, and then it makes sense for somebody to come up to me and say, well, do you like those? Is that the right size? And then maybe get the right size for me. I may want to buy them, or they give me advice, or whatever it is. It's not different in the digital world. In the digital world, you also need to be there at those high-value moments for your customers and tell them whether or not you have the right shoes for them. So also think about that when you start building that customer engagement hub. We talked about AI for a few minutes. AI will help you improve the personalization with all the data and the insights that you have, and also give you the real-time capabilities that are out there today. And the last element in building this customer engagement hub is buy if you can and build only if you must. Because technology is going so fast, it's not that you can keep up with that. So if you can buy it, and only think about building if you have to have some specific requirements. Two elements to it that you want to think about if you're really getting into this customer engagement hub. It needs to increase your capabilities for making this event-driven, real-time situational awareness. That's something that you can do with AI. Make sure that you identify who this customer is. Know the customer journey analytics behind it so that you can personalize that engagement. And do the real-time orchestration. Maybe sometimes needs to be shift to another channel because of the fact that that may be their more preferred channel, that may be the cheaper channel, or whatever reason that you have for it. But make sure that you increase your capabilities of being more event-driven and have real-time situational awareness. The last element to it is, for me, is speed. If you deliver. A lot what we have seen in the past is that it is not coming quick enough. Go-to-market is extremely important in delivering capabilities now from a customer engagement perspective. So, if you're using AI, if you start building your customer engagement program through a customer engagement hub, don't forget about your employees. Because your employees are so important, Richard Branson even said, you know, customers don't come first. It's the employee that comes first. I used to work for years for Marriott, Hotel and Resorts, and they also said the same. If you take care of your employees, they will take care of your customers. And I really believe in that. Let me give you some interesting perspective here. European citizens are overall pretty happy, despite Brexit, but I won't get into that. 77.4%. But if you ask everybody how happy and engaged they are on this Monday morning, everybody want to take a guess? We're on Monday morning? How? 14%. So those who think that their employees will be very engaged on a Monday morning, please think again. Please think again. But it's really simple. It is really simple. Employee experience enables customer experience by delivering superior engagements. That's the key to the whole story. I can talk all about technology, but also the employees are very important. And what I see that a lot of companies are not thinking about is saying, if I increase the employee engagement and the experience that I have with them, I can get two things. I can enhance my operational performance on one side, and on the other side, I can also improve the customer engagement, the customer experience in that respect. So there is a lot to gain if you really take care of the customers that you have today. And I think this is always a very good example. The company Zappos that really understood in this new age that it's all about giving your employees permission to do things, empower them in the way they can work for your customers. Really strong story, always what the Zappos people are talking about. And if you want to talk about the engagement here, think about 5 things. First of all, their job understanding. A lot of people really are unclear about what are their responsibilities and what can they do and what can they not do. Invest also in the relationship that you have with your direct supervisor. But it's also leading by example. So it's also the perception of the senior leadership that is out there and how they do it. And articulate how people can actually grow and go forward. And last but not least, the working conditions are extremely important if you would like to do well when it comes from a customer perspective. And let me just give you one simple example that is out there. This is Reliant, an energy company. And they had very disaffective customer service reps. It really, really resulted in bad customer experience. And they didn't know what to do for a long time until somebody says, we need to do something here with employees. And there's 3 things that they took into consideration. They eliminated all their cumbersome policies, which were basically too much when it came to manuals, when it came to QR, quality checklists, when it came to all sorts of policies that were out there, scripts that they were having. They were not taking their employees seriously. So they basically removed or eliminated all of that in order to have a more healthy environment. And the second thing that they did, they physically, in the customer service environment, lowered the walls, those ugly separating walls that you have, and made them lower so that they could see each other, that they can talk to each other, that they consult each other, that they can inform each other to make things better. And it helped also in that respect. And last but not least, they invested also in the skills of their employees. And they did that by doing call simulations with actors in order to do role play and get a good perspective of what they were doing and how they were doing things. A very, very interesting way of doing this with customers. So, start thinking about your workforce engagement management. And think about some of the employee engagement methodologies that you can do. Think about it, how you, in those 5 elements that I just shared with you, are working on your recruitment and on your onboarding when it comes to customer engagement. Rethink the way you evaluate your employees and how you would like to improve with them. Think about what tools you can give them and think about how you do time management. Could they be, for example, be doing training on a train or when they commute because they are in downtime? Can you offer them some sort of home work that they can do instead of only being in the office to stop commuting? Think about how you would like to recognize them and give them different metrics to actually stimulate them to take care of your customers instead of most of the time just looking into metrics so we can tell them how much revenue they have gained for us. And last but not least, also very much look into the voice of the employee, because it is important. Over the next coming years, where there is a lack of resources, where there is different resources necessary, you need to start also listening to your employees and find those new methods of going forward in the marketplace. So I think those were the 3 trends that I saw companies who are winners that I talked about in the beginning are doing at the moment. This is where they are going forward. And for me, therefore, the future of customer engagement is really now. And those winners that I have seen in the past, their organizations, as well as their leaders, they really think about, they see life and they see their organization, their life, really as a nightclub, to be honest. A nightclub? Yeah, a nightclub. Nightclub has 3 entrances, right? Do you know that? Those go to nightclubs? There's one. Everybody that stands in line, quietly waiting to get in. There's a second one, that's always for those VIPs. That's annoying, that I'm standing in line and you can just go in. Some sort of like sky priority on an airplane. But there's a third entrance. That's the entrance where you need to go around in the alley, knock on the door, where you can get in, or there's a toilet window, or there is something else that you actually get into, through a basement, through the kitchen. A lot of times, the third one that nobody knows about. And my message to you today is actually very simple. It's really simple. All the old ways of doing customer engagement in this digital world are gone. And you need to find yourself a way to be that one that goes in through that third entrance, that finds his way through that kitchen window, through that back door, to make you stand out in the market here today. And the thing is, for everybody, that window is different. That third entrance is different. Throughout the day, here today with eGain, you probably get a lot of ideas, and you have a lot of conversations amongst each other also to think about going forward into customer engagement. And find your third alley. Find your third entrance into that nightclub to really get your stuff going. And most importantly, be a winner. Like Lucas Moura was a couple of days ago when he crashed my dream of the Champions League final. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a wonderful day.